Today we're going to start creating our self-portrait, and the easiest way for us to get everything laid out properly is to fold our paper so that those creases can be guidelines for us. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my paper and fold it in half, and you'll notice I use the table and then I just press it down. After I fold it in half once, I'm going to fold it in half one more time. So now I have a small skinny rectangle. I like to turn it to be able to fold it just one last time. And what I do is I keep my fingers close to where that fold is going to be. I line up my edge. Then I put my fingers inside and pull towards me a little bit. That helps this flatten out as we want it to be a nice neat fold. Then I press down my creases one more time. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it all back up. What we're going to end up drawing is half of our face. This way it's actually going to be really nice because we don't need to worry about our eyes being the same size or making everything symmetrical. So what we are going to do is I'm going to start at the very top next to this crease. So not exactly on it, just a little bit over. And I'm going to pull a straight line down through the first fold, down to the second fold. So this line goes halfway down my paper, and that's going to be the side of our face. Our ears are going to end up right about here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the third fold, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make just a little bit of a line. That's where I want my chin to end. And what I'm going to do is I find it easiest to turn my paper, and I am going to curve. This is going to turn into our chin line or our jaw line, and I curve just like that. So now I have the side of my head, my jawline, and my chin. I am going to come in just a little bit from that jawline, and I am pulling a line. It's a slight curve, and I am pulling it into this bottom right hand box. This is our neck. From our neck, and again, I like to turn my paper a lot, I'm going to come out, and that is our shoulder. What we are going to do next is we're going to add some guides for the eyes. So the eyes are going to be on fold number 1 if we're counting down from the top. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot right about here and a dot right about here. We are drawing these bigger, larger than life, so it's going to look a little large, and that's okay. So what we are going to do next is we're going to draw our eyes, and most of you have practiced this with me before. We draw kind of a wide hill for the top, and then a more narrow, shallow hill at the bottom. So now I have that nice outside eye shape. Then I come in here and I curve, and it's almost like I'm drawing a big circle. So then these two corners of our eyes are for the whites of our eyes, which is called the sclera. Then this part is for the colored part of our eye, and which is the iris. And then we are going to draw the pupil right in the center of that circle. So now we have all 3 parts to our eyes. To create our nose, we are going to be using half of a nose. So on fold number 2, I'm going to just come in a little bit and curve up, almost like I'm making a really small smile. Then I come over here and I draw a curve, and that makes kind of the shadow behind your nostril. And for your mouth, you are going to do that about in the middle of this next section between fold number 2 and fold number 3, where your chin is, because your mouth is halfway between your nose and your chin if we're talking about proper proportions. So I make a little mark where I want the mouth to start, and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna curve up just a little bit, not a lot, not huge. That is going to be where your lips come together and where they separate, so there's a very clear line there. Then we're going to come down a little bit farther, and I make another curve. I don't make it touch that line right there though. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make an even smaller, just a half of a U. It's really tiny, but I promise it's there. I come in, curve down and out, and there is a decent half of a smile. Your eyebrows are wider than your eye. They actually help to protect your eyes from catching dust and pollens and things like that. So I curve up and then I make that, and it does go past my eyes. Then on the side closer to the edge of your paper, you are going to make a little curve because your eyebrows have a shape. So we're going to draw the shape and then you're going to color them in after to match your hair color. Then I try to follow this curve, and then it turns into a point right at the very edge. Your eyebrow does thin out on the edge of your face where it's closer to your ear. So at this point we have our face built, and we're just going to add a quick line for a shirt. I like making my curved just like that. And so right now we have our face set up, and you are going to select the next video depending on if you have long hair or short hair. There's going to be 2 separate videos.